and we won't blaze out. We won't blaze out, and we won't blaze out.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, and welcome to the preview for the game between Manchester United and Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup. United start their defence of the trophy against a tough opponent who's actually had a decent start to the season under Roy Hodgson. 3 wins, 2 draws and 2 losses in all comps for Palace, and a 0-0 draw against Fulham last time out in the league. But this is a cup competition, so we're expecting a little bit of rotation, a little bit of a different game, not your usual kind of league game, but we do actually play them in the league after it as well. So got a bit of a double header with Crystal Palace coming up. As you'll know, lads, we won a trophy last season, the Carabao Cup. We are the current holders of this trophy. Can you name the teams we beat along the way?
Along the way,
Yes.
Nottingham Forest.
1,
Charlton Athletic,
2,
Newcastle.
3.
the
2 more
semis.
teams. You've actually done them all in chronological order, almost like backwards.
Backwards, yeah.
So December, we played a certain team.
Hold on.
Recently.
Did we play Carlisle? No, we didn't play Carlisle.
West Ham.
Nope.
No, that was FA Cup.
The right kit. You got the right kit colours.
Yeah, it was one of the Clarets. Burnley.
We played Burnley, yeah.
Yeah.
And another.
Aston Villa.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, Villa.
Yeah.
I'll
I'll give that to Shreyas because he said Villa first.
So in chronological, it's Villa, Burnley, Charlton, Forest twice, and then Newcastle United in the final. What about scores? Or is that asking too much?
Let's give it a go. Villa was 4-2.
Yes.
Villa was 4-2.
I'm not going to ask for goal scorers because I definitely wouldn't have been able to remember it. Not a chance.
Forest was 3-0. Did we have
away?
3-0?
The
3-0
away.
3-0 away.
And I think it was 2-0 at home.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. 2-0 at home.
2-0 against Newcastle in the final. And 3-0 against Charlton as well.
Yeah.
3-0 Charlton. Is there one more? Burnley. Was
3-0?
that 1-0?
No.
3-0.
Nope.
The Burnley game was it home or away? It was home, yeah?
It was away.
Away.
No, actually, I don't know.
I think it was home.
I think it was home.
I think it might have been home, yeah. I was away.
Was it 2-1?
Yes, 2-0.
2-0, okay.
2-0.
Yeah. Ericsson and Rashford scored in that game because I was at a Logfire thing. I did a weird video thing in front of the fire. Remember it? Yeah, very, very strange. But yeah, let me know how you lot are feeling in the chat, whether you're watching this live or watching it later on. I want to focus on United first going into this preview. Heading into this game hasn't been the ideal start to the season for us. I think we was very lucky against Wolves. I think we can all admit that. And we went 2 down against Forest as well. Had to come back there. Then we lost, I think it was like 4 times in a row, was it? Tottenham, Arsenal, Bayern Munich.
And Brighton.
Yeah, so 4 in a row. Just bounced back now with a win, Shreyas. Are you taking any... Why is my voice going? Are you taking any positives from the performance against Burnley?
Yeah. I mean, United's performances, practically took your voice away. But I think we needed a win. We definitely needed a win. I think Burnley was actually a really big game for us because if we wouldn't have taken 3 points against them, we would have been in a much difficult position right now in the league. Perhaps even though it was a 1-0 win, perhaps it can get some confidence into the team. We can string at least 3 wins together. Like if we are able to beat Palace, if we are playing them twice in a row, then we play against Galatasaray as well. So hopefully we string some wins together because I think one of the biggest factors this team actually needs is that confidence. Last season, there were games where we weren't really playing particularly well, but because we were on a winning momentum, this team was able to, just stick around for the 90, even though we weren't playing, that great of football, but we were still able to, maintain our own, even when it came to actually, better teams as well. Maybe it has to do with us playing at home, but at least we were able to play good football for a majority of that game and get some wins. Right now, there is a lack of rhythm in the team. I think one of the biggest factors about it is injuries. We've got practically an entire first 11 right now who is injured. But I think that Burnley win actually brought a lot of confidence And perhaps, with these players who are going to be coming back in, likes of Amrabat, Varane coming back as well, Mount and Kobe Mainu coming back soon into the 11 as well. So perhaps these reinforcements can give us some depth, and it can actually, help Ten Hag playing the way he actually wants our team to play. Because Burnley, we knew how that game was supposed to go, because we knew that, Martinez is not going to be there. It's going to be a very scrappy game, and we came off with a win. With Palace as well, I think they have some injury issues. So maybe, this Burnley game can help us get like 3 to 4 wins in the next few fixtures.
Absolutely. Just do us a quick favour, Shreyas. Have a look at your audio if you can. Because I don't know if it's like that for Chiva. It seems a bit tinny and it's going in and out.
Sure.
I noticed when you lean forward.
It goes.
I hear it better, yeah. No, when you lean forward, it's better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, for some reason, I don't know. But
I don't know.
Shreyas mentioned depth there, Chiva. It's something I want to ask you about in particular. It's going to be an opportunity for a few of the players that are coming back, players with limited game time. Who, in your opinion, deserves an opportunity in this game?
Hannibal definitely deserves an opportunity. He's kind of shown us over the last 2 performances. I think he came on against Brighton, got the goal. I don't remember. Did he play against Bayern?
No, I don't think so. He might have got minutes, but he might have got a couple minutes, but yeah.
Yeah, but just based on his performance at Brighton and his performance in the last game, I mean, I think he's definitely knocking on the door for some sort of opportunity. Because we've seen, some of our senior players actually are not really performing at the moment. I don't want to go in on them. I mean, I understand nobody turns up. None of our players at the moment, I think none of the starting players turns up and just wants to have a bad game. It happens, right? We go to work sometimes. I go to work sometimes, really wanted to put in a shift, and then I just end up doing, fuck all. It's not like I want to, but sometimes it just kind of happens.
Hopefully your bosses aren't listening to this.
Yeah. I hope not.
Let's hope not.
But I mean, it's not something that's like abnormal. I'm sure everyone goes. Bosses as well have that anyway.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. So that's cool. But I think the point I'm trying to make is, with Hannibal, he definitely deserves a chance. He's shown up some of the other players, and I think if Erik ten Hag is speaking based on performances, he hasn't been, superb. But he's been sparky. He's kind of like, he's brought that sort of that hunger. I think I mentioned it before in the group chat once. I wanted to see a player with hunger come into the team, and he's shown that he wants it. So why not play him? I also think, I don't know, this might be a little bit controversial, but Rashford hasn't really been playing really well, and I think.
Can you just hold that? Because I wanted to ask you about Marcus Rashford. Can you just hold that point in front of me? Because I do want to get into depth about that.
Yeah.
Because
cool. I'll just go. What's his name? Hannibal and Pelistri. Because just to answer your question on people who should. And Tom Heaton is a really good shot stopper. I know people. He's not everyone's favorite. He's always been a very good shot stopper, and I think we should try and. I think he should play this game. He should come in. Let's see what he can do. I mean, we should be able to see who we can rely on when, the time when Onana isn't there. He's going to the African Cup of Nations next year.
Yeah.
I'd like to get a better profile of Heaton. I know we saw him in the pre-season. Yeah.
Don't forget about buying there as well, though, Chiva. We did buy a second choice goalkeeper, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. But I would like Heaton to. I mean, it's the first Carabao Cup game. Let's at least get a win. Let's not just get knocked out. So
okay.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
Interesting. Well, we'll dive into our predicted lineup. Sorry, towards the end. Lindelof to go. It's a stupid question. Of course, we're winning it again. Vince says, hi, I went to all them games, even the final. Good on you. What are you on about? Was this the home games apart from the final? No, just a run up to the tournament, Vince. MUFC says, I don't think we're going to win the FA Cup. What makes you think we're going to win? We didn't mention the FA Cup. We're on about the Carabao Cup. Hannibal should play over Eriksen. I agree. Yeah. I mean, Eriksen's got his own flaws, which we don't need to discuss. We've been over it many a times. But Shreyas, when you look at it from a perspective of not just the Carabao, but all the tournaments, like someone just mentioned FA Cup there, and the progress that we made last season, and all, because we went quite far, didn't we? Finally, FA Cup, won the Carabao, quarters of the Europa. What are you expecting this season from that? Do you think we can have good cup runs, or do you think the way we started is a bit too shaky for your liking?
I think in one of the cups we'll have a good run. The reason being, I've never seen Ten Hag play a weak side in any competition. Like, if you have to take into context last season, whether it was the FA Cup, whether it was the League, whether it was the Carabao Cup, whether it was the Europa League, you would always see our strongest first 11 actually being put out into that squad who used to play for us in any of those competitions. So I don't think that, Ten Hag will be making any exception this season. I know that definitely we have injury issues, but I think for Ten Hag, I think having that trophy, having that trophy and having that silverware, I think it means a little more to him. And I think on the basis of that, I think we'll be fielding our strongest 11 tomorrow as well. Maybe you could be seeing a couple of fresh faces, a couple of youngsters in the team, but I think overall it will be our strongest 11 who would be playing for us tomorrow.
Yeah, and I think a couple of them will be start. I agree with you because he just doesn't like to chop and change too much, does he? He always goes really, really strong. And I also think that's one of our issues this season because players are dropping like flies in terms of injuries and stuff like that. You speaking about Marcus Rashford there, Chive, and I actually want to ask you about that because I think him and Bruno Fernandes so far have been pretty poor, just in my personal opinion. What has your assessment been of their performances? Would you rest them for this game? And do you agree that they're slightly living off a little bit of reputation at the moment?
100%. I agree. And I was really confused when Bruno got the man of the match trophy.
I didn't get it either. I was like, what? I don't know what I'm watching.
I didn't know what to make of that. I mean, they've been poor. Like, especially Rashford, I'd say, because one of his biggest criticisms that we've talked about this for months and months is his awful decision making. And I don't know if it's only us, the fans, who see this, because surely the people, I mean, the training staff should see this. I don't know if anyone's having a chat to him about this, but I just don't understand it. Like, there were so many times when he could have actually taken a shot and then he's looking for the pass, and then when it's time to actually shoot, when it's time to pass, he's trying to shoot, and then there's players around him. So I don't know. I mean, it's another criticism of Rashford is his inconsistency. This is the difference. This is the problem. This is why we really can't just take him to that. Well, I really can't just rate him at that next level.
It's true.
And you look at people like, it hurts me to say this, but you look at like
Arsenal winger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Him.
Yeah.
Like he's doing it constantly. Like he might have a bad game here, a bad game there, but he's doing it. He's
spot on.
Yeah, you know what he's going to do. He's making things happen. Even if he has a bad game, he forces some kind of moves. Rashford needs to take some notes, man, honestly. And you're right, 100% right. He's living off his reputation. If his name was not Marcus Rashford, if it was anyone else, just take him out, put that shirt on him. We'll be calling for his head. But It's Rashford, and to be fair, he's built credit in the bank for this.
Yeah, carried us last season, didn't he? But do you not think that's also detriment to him as well, the fact that why he's so greedy now, because he's taken that mantle upon himself rather than, putting it across for Højlund or, squaring it to Bruno, or because he's might have that mindset now where it's just like, because he had to carry the team last season, he was the one bagging all the goals. Now it's slightly different. You need to adapt, but I don't know.
I don't think he's greedy. Rashford doesn't. I've told you guys, he doesn't lift his head. When he gets his head is down, and he doesn't lift it. This is the problem. So I don't think he's greedy. He just isn't. His awareness is pants. Like his he doesn't scan when he gets the ball. I think I don't understand how him and Martial function, because that's the only one who I think with him and Martial, like they kind of know where each other is at.
Combinational play.
Yeah. They kind of just know. He's the only one. So I don't know if like Martial's whistling like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, how does he see that? Yeah. But everyone else, Marcus just doesn't see them. So it's just one of them ones where, But Bruno, I think, has been terrible, but he's been the better of the two. Because even when he's not played well, he's kind of made things happen certain times. I don't know. It's so disheartening, like head scratching just to see, it's Marcus. You don't know what Marcus you're going to get every season.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah. Shreyas, what have you made of Bruno Fernandes in particular? I mean, you can add on to Rashford as well, but it just, for me, I described him in the show the other day as just like, it just looks like a tired mum who needs a bath and a good sleep. You know what I mean? Like, it just looks knackered. The amount of minutes he plays, I don't care, what your routine is, what kind of stamina levels you got. It must affect you in it. Can you see that on the pitch now?
I think it shows in his performance that, he's tired, and he played the most minutes across Europe the last season, all across Europe. And he played almost every single game. The one game he didn't play because he was suspended. Not, that's how much Ten Hag relied on him last season. And even now that, this season has started, he's played the full 90 in every single game. He's not been subbed off or he's not been rested in any game. So it will have its, effect on his body. I think one of the players who definitely deserves a rest in this team is Bruno Fernandes, and I would actually put Rashford in that category as well. I think even he demands some rest. He's been playing non-stop for us too. So I think once these players are able to get some rest in, maybe we see some better performances from them. And that's why, I'm leading more towards, having certain players rested during this coming international break, so that, at least they get some rest, and at least, they're able to take some time off, they're able to recover. Because I think even during these international breaks, over the years, we've lost a lot of players through injury during these breaks as well. Perhaps maybe, if they are able to get a breather for like a couple of weeks, they can come back and they look more charged. Like, if you remember the Arsenal game we had, and, Garnacho came on and he looked much more brighter. In the past few games, he didn't look as bright because even he was being played every single game. The Wolves game, after that Spurs game, and before that all across pre-season as well, he was with the same squad who was traveling all across the globe. So it has its effect on its body, and the injuries that we are having right now are the prime example of that. Players like Lisandro Martinez being out. You've also got, the new signings in Mason Mount coming in. Even they got injured. You've got a series of players who are not available right now, who Ten Hag actually is going to rely on a lot. Once they come back, there will be a lot of changes into this first team. So I think with Bruno, I think it's a matter of patience. I think eventually he'll get back to his home when the squad stabilizes. Once this first concrete starting 11 starts playing for us, like Casemiro, Amrabat and Bruno, like they play a series of 4 to 5 games together, perhaps we'll be seeing a more refined version of him. But till then, I think till that point actually comes, we have to be patient, which is going to be tough.
It just needs to drop him just for a couple of games. Like, I guess Bruno Fernandes is the most important player, and likewise with Marcus Rashford as well. But at some point they need dropping. Like, just when they're performing bad and they look knackered, that's the time to take them out of the squad. If not, that isn't good squad management. Like, you could talk about robustness and all this, but obviously it hasn't worked because they were going into the season absolutely drained. Just missed a comment. A scoreboard saying Hannibal should, in fact, everyone should play over McTominay. Are you guys for the rumours going about Martial will start tomorrow? I mean, we'll discuss that. Don't worry about that. MUFC says Rashford should be playing no matter what. I disagree. Completely disagree with that. Shah Sam says watching other teams' wingers will feel depressed. Well, that's what I mean. Like, I know we hate to talk about Arsenal, Chivy, like you mentioned, but Martinelli and Saka are doing it consistently for their team. Double figures in goals and assists. Like, it's the stats are
one of the biggest factors, I think, with them is even if they don't have good performances, they are able to get the basics right.
They're still
with Rashford,
producing.
With Rashford, if he has a bad game, if he is not even able to get those basics right, and that's the thing with all of our wingers at the moment.
That's a fantastic point, because this is the thing with Rashford. Like, when he doesn't perform, it reflects on everyone else. Like, the whole team doesn't perform, and it's something that we really, really need to look into. Like, there has to be some sort of solution. Even if it means, I understand when coaches try to play players through these kind of things, but I wouldn't be opposed to someone else start Martial and then bring Rashford in later. When the player, defenders are tired, they're scared, everything, and then he can just come in and then just be direct and then just destroy them. Like,
do you remember Leipzig when he came on as a sub and scored a hat-trick? League. Impactful. Like, switch up, bring Garnacho on for 70, bring Rashford on last 30 or 20, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Like,
when you have players like that, like, the last thing a defender wants to do, the last thing the defender wants to see on, like, the 75th minute is, like, Marcus Rashford warming up and you're like, oh fuck, he's coming on my wing.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, so you could do that. He gets a couple of goals, a good performance, and he's back in.
Yeah, agreed. Lindelof says Rashi needs to come across to Rasmus more because they could be a great duo. Simple as it sounds, it's difficult for Rashford for some reason. He just needs to get out of that habit. Oh, he's 25 now. He's been playing at United. Like, obviously he's been at the academy, but he's been here. You know, he's basically a senior player with a lot of minutes in his belt. Greetings, Earthling says your place in the Cosmos. He is a Real Red Ultra member. If you want to become a Real Red Ultra member for exclusive content, a badge next to your name and a chance to feature on the show, do click that join button or the link in the description. We've got Naz in the chat saying other teams take out their star players and put them on the bench or sub them. Son, Maddison subbed at the Emirates. Even Ødegaard gets subbed. Captains and star players get subbed. Agree, Naz. I absolutely agree with that. Yeah. Dino Lewis says Rashford has always been a player who scores and assists in bunches throughout the season. He'll come good again, but that's down to Ten Hag in dropping him when he is us in a bad run. This is probably why Sancho was annoyed, not going to lie. I mean, the narrative is there for Sancho in terms of favouritism or whatever. I mean, I can kind of sympathise with that a little bit, but if you turn up to training late, if he has been doing that and not applying himself, then that's also another reason why he's not starting. But look, I want to take a closer look at Crystal Palace. I mentioned before they've started quite strong. They're currently 1 point behind us in the league. The striker Odson Edwards, I think, is like third top goal scorer with 4 goals in the league as well. They've got players like Eze, who I like to describe as like a magician. They can just pull a rabbit out of the hat and they can cause issues, similar to like St. Maximin, for example, for Newcastle. You just give them the ball and they can create their own chances. Like, I'm a big fan of Eze. But just specifically on Palace, Shreyas, what do you like about them? What worries you? Just give me an overall kind of perspective of them in your eyes.
I think one thing about Palace is that they're a set team. Like, if you look at Palace, you know the type of football they're going to play and you know the kind of fight that they'll bring into a game. And they started the season bright, no doubt about it. We haven't. And I think in comparison to the game we had against Burnley, if we play the same way, Crystal Palace can actually beat us. So we need to be on our toes because they are one of those teams, you know, if you have a momentary lapse in judgment, you know, they have those sort of plays, like you mentioned, Eze. You know, they capitalize on those sort of moments. So you cannot be, you know, be unaware or unalert in any moment in that game. The key thing in this game, I think, is genuinely going to be getting the early goal. Like, if we are able to strike in the first 15 minutes, that's when Palace get under pressure and they're not able to play as well. You know, they leave spaces in behind, and then we have the players to actually, play on the counter attack, get on, players like Rashford or Garnacho, whoever's going to be starting for us. You know, they can exploit those spaces. But I think against a team like Palace, who are, very well drilled, I think getting the early goal is the best thing you can do against these sort of teams.
100%. I mean, Palace have been a little bit of a bogey team for us, Chivy. I mean, even if you look at the head-to-head between them both, 1-2, drew 2 and lost 1 in the last 5, and they've all been games with not a lot of goals as well. Why do you think that is, specifically with Palace?
I don't know, just some teams, it just happens with some teams. I think in the 90s and 2000s, it was Middlesbrough. Like, it didn't matter who the manager was. Whenever we went to Riverside, we're getting beat. They'd come to Old Trafford and, scrape a 1-0.
Yeah.
And it was just so annoying. I remember there was a time when I just couldn't wait to win Borough. That was because I think I went like 2 seasons without a win. It was like draws and draws. I was like, please just give me that win. So it might be one of those things with Palace. It might just be a coincidence as well. Who knows? But I agree with what Shreyas is saying. We need to get an early goal because they have, what's that defender? I think he's a Swedish defender, Joaquin Anderson.
Oh, yeah, Joaquin Anderson, Danish.
Yeah.
Danish, yeah. So apart from, so he's not like the greatest defender, but he plays mind games a lot with strikers. Like, he's always like, he's one of them ones where he's just annoying. And I think if we have someone like, for example, I mean, if Rashford's leading the line or if he gets on him, he's the kind of defender that could just frustrate you, because I've seen him do that to Jesus. I've seen him do it to a couple of players. He's so, So we need that early goal to establish, just to feel, to calm the nerves, take the lead. We can calm down, because one thing I've noticed this season is every time we go down, like, you can just tell, like, the boys just literally just lose.
Drop.
Yeah, the heads drop, the shoulders drop. Don't have the capacity to come back. I think the only time we did that was against Forest. I think, So it's one of them ones, man. We need to get that early lead.
Yeah, for sure. You give me the perfect segue each time. I actually want to speak about both centre-back players in Mark Gay and Joachim Anderson. I think you could probably say right now with Palace, with their centre-back partnership, it's obviously more stable than ours because we've got so many injuries. We're chopping and changing consistently. Would you take any of these centre-backs at United? We was obviously linked with Gay, weren't we, in the summer. There was that list, I think it was Tapsoba, Gay, to Debo, and another one. I can't remember what the other one was, but... Are you a fan of them? Do you like him for Palace?
I think he is a decent centre back. I think, like right now, in certain games when we have to bring on Johnny Evans or you have to bring on Harry Maguire, it's much better to having someone like him to actually come on in these sort of games. But would I take them? I think I would take Mark Gay. I think he's a good centre back. I think perhaps if we there's no other option left. And you need to just go in with someone who is much more reliable, who has the experience of the Premier League as well, has been featuring for Crystal Palace on a consistent basis for, I would say, a couple of seasons now. So I think he would be a good pickup if United actually, want to go in for another centre-back, if it is possible. But definitely, with the way we are struggling with injuries right now, we actually don't know what our starting centre-back partnership is going to look, every single game rolls in.
If Johnny Evans is putting in assists like that, he can start every fucking game. I don't give a shit. That on his weak foot, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know where he pulled that from, but I was watching it and I thought Lissandro wasn't playing because it looks like a type of pass that Lissandro would make. Yeah. I had to rub my eyes and I was like, fucking hell, Johnny Evans has just played that pass. Yeah. Unreal, man. Unreal.
That wasn't a fluke as well. Like you could see, he actually carried the ball in.
Precision.
Yeah, he carried the ball in. And then no fluke.
Yeah. So I still don't know what an actual centre-back partnership would look like next week because Lissandro is out and I don't think that there's been an update until now as to when he'll be back, which is not
really... Another one, Trey, I could tell he was still injured by the way he was playing. I could tell there was something up with him.
Even when pre-season was going on and we did a couple of watch-alongs, we could see that he's not at his best. And when this season started... there are only two reasons why a certain player is not performing, and we've seen Lisandro Martinez play last season, and it actually came down to fitness. It's not like he's lost that mental sense of being a central defender. He has lost his passing sense, or he's not as confident. It has actually got to do with his fitness levels because you can see he's not as agile as he used to be, or as mobile, or as physical as he was last season, and I think. Perhaps Ten Hag actually didn't have any other option but to play him because there is actually no one else because Varane was out as well. Perhaps if Varane was there, he would have been given that rest. But hopefully, Lisandro can come back after a good rest. He comes back after a good rest. He's fully fit. But right now, it's very uncertain with United as to how the centre-back partnership is looking. Even the full-back department as well, I would say. There's still no, update about Reguilon. We've only got Dalot actually who's 100% fit. So it's a very bad situation when it comes to our defenders.
Yeah,
is our academy that shit? That we can't.
We sold everyone.
We've sent Alvaro out on loan as well, haven't we? So we even got him as cover. Which, in fairness, in hindsight, obviously it's easy saying we should have kept him or whatever. But we had Malacia, Shaw, and then we brought Reguilon as well, who's now apparently got an injury, but it isn't as bad as they don't think.
Yeah, but Malacia was injured. He was not going to start the season. And it was a risk because you could actually have Luke Shaw as the centre back option.
Yeah.
And then so then at the end of the day you're left with with Alvaro. So he should have stayed. Apart from that, bloody Paddy McNair got a chance. There was a time when we used to have players to come in as shoe-ins. It's not like they would come in. Yeah, just come. Johnny Evans.
Now, we've got a full back line full of shoe-ins, really. Who are all second-choice defenders at the minute.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm just saying,
a couple of games a youngster comes in.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm saying, the back line, look at it now, you're like, fucking hell.
Yeah, then what's your academy for if you're not going to have players who are kind of on the fringes? To come in for a left back or a right back position. But anyway, I don't want to sway the topic. Yeah.
I'll read out some comments. Scoreboard says, I think the game against Burnley showed us we look better when Bruno is further forward, feeding Højlund and Rashford. I also think as well that Rashford, Højlund, and Bruno are all kind of players. Maybe not Højlund as much, but they're not great at ball retention. They like doing things quickly, which is why Ten Hag has probably lent towards the transitional style of football. Because you can't play a possession game with them really. They're just not. They're not them kind of players. So people can moan about the transitional game and quick counter-attack stuff, but that's the player profile that we've got really at our disposal. Dino Lewis says, I'm worried about what defence we can put out. Palace always pulls something out against us. They are a bogey team, like we said. Got to be Xavi Evans to start. Scoreboard, how many of the youth team are we allowed to play in the League Cup? I don't know the specific figure. I'm not entirely sure. And David Harrington says, play Varane and Evans at centre-back with Lindelof at right-back. Oh, no. I mean, we'll get into predicted 11s, but last time I remember Lindelof playing right-back was against Atletico Madrid, and that experiment did not work.
Yeah.
So
it's not that bad, Nick. It's not a bad shout. It's not a bad shout, to be honest.
Well, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. Yeah. Howdy fucking lads, says the Geordie. We've got a Newcastle fan in the chat. Anyone is welcome, as long as you're not an idiot. Leave a like on the video for us and subscribe to the channel. We're going to do some quick fire questions. Tomorrow night, Man United versus Crystal Palace in the Carabao. Will we score more than 2, lads?
No.
More than 2, no.
Will Garnacho start?
No.
No.
Will Eze score or assist a goal?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got to swap one player from Palace, but whatever position you pick, a player from our team goes the other way. Like Uno, basically.
Out of fit players or out of the 11 we field?
Who's available right now?
McTominay goes that way. And I'll just have to double check because Eze is an attacking mid.
Yeah, he's an attacking mid.
Yeah.
But you've got I think Will Hughes. I think
Is Olise? Did Olise move? Or is
Olise is
no,
injured.
I don't think he did. I think Elise's there, but he's injured, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the obvious one's probably a centre back or something like Gay for an Evans or something like that. No? Or
Yeah, I think it has to be. I think it has to be Gay or Anderson. No way. No way.
Oh, you're taking that?
Yeah, that's mine. Yeah, that's mine.
Yeah.
No, I think it will be Mark Gay or Anderson for Bayern or
Okay. Your audio's gone a little bit thin again there. Maybe just take a look at that.
Yeah.
We're near the end now. We're getting there. Right, predicted 11s. Are we okay to switch screens? Straight as?
Yeah. One sec.
There we go. Audio's sweet now.
Yeah.
And let me know whose is up first, and then we can go through the team and why we picked
Chivy's up
certain
first.
individuals. Chivy, you're up first, mate. Talk us through your team and why you picked him and why you picked a certain player at right back.
I swear, I don't remember what my team. Did I pick Lindelof at right back?
Yeah, I think you did. I'll tell you your team now because you put it in the thing. So you went for you've got.
Oh, I know. I've got Tom Heaton.
Yeah.
Lindelof, Varane, Evans, Dalot.
Hello. Yeah.
The midfield, I think I went Casemiro, Ericsson,
McTominay.
Yeah.
Bruno on the wing.
Yeah, Bruno. I think I just filled it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah. Let's talk about the back. No,
won't expect anything less, right?
But no, but the backline was intentional because Lindelof he's not a stranger to right back. I know he had that one game at Atletico where he was absolutely torn. But then he's played right back for Sweden in the past. He's played right back for Benfica.
Yeah.
For Benfica before he came to Man United. And
against an Eze or a winger like that, you trust Lindelof to do a job there?
I think they've got Love or Jordan.
I don't think have they got like a piece?
Even Jordan Ayew's strong and pacer.
He's not stronger than Lindelof. He's not.
Right, that's going to be your final last words, mate. I'm telling you.
He's not stronger than. I swear to God, he's not stronger than Lindelof. And the good thing about Lindelof is, Ayew doesn't have like blistering pace. Like it's not like crazy pace. Lindelof is a very good reader of the ball. That's one thing. That's one of his biggest assets. he's not physical. He doesn't jump high for a centre defender, but he reads the game really well. I think he can do a job there, to be honest. And his range of passing is amazing as well. So, we can expect some kind of balls coming in, or pause. We can expect some crosses coming in from the right wing. And, I mean, given what we have right now, who else are you going to play at right back? Because if you move, Dallo is the most naturally left playing fullback we have at the moment. I'd rather have Dallo play the fullback on the left-hand side than have some right-footed midfielder fill in for,
Yeah, I think Reguilon's injury isn't going to be as bad as everyone thinks, so that's why I would go with him there. But in fairness, Theo, if it is and he isn't available, then that's kind of your
Reguilon
can do it.
Before he got subbed, he was holding his hamstring. Before he got subbed.
Yeah.
It will say no. Absolutely. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say that account that has put the past 2-3 things out and been absolutely spot on about it, about Lissandro being out for the Burnley game, Wan-Bissaka being injured, and the Sancho thing as well. It's not as bad as everyone thinks, and he should be available. So
I don't know this account.
No one knows really, innit? We could only be skeptical.
I don't know the accounts. I'm just going by what I saw when he was playing. He held his hamstring, right?
Which isn't good.
Yeah, which isn't good. And if you're and it would be absolutely insane if we then play him now for some,
I agree.
We have to rest him for this game. There's no chance that he should be playing today, ahead of the game on Saturday. So yeah.
Okay. So,
and finally, just in attack, I think I had Rashford, Martial, and someone else. Did I?
You had Rashford, Martial, and Bruno. But the way you put it, it was like Martial on the left, Rashford up top, and Bruno on the right. That's like the way it was structured. I don't know if you meant it like that or
no. It was going to be Martial in the 9, Rashford on the left.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Right, Shreyas, who's up next?
One sec. It's mine. So
okay, go for it.
Yeah. So I've gone with. I've actually considered the same way, like that Reguilon is not going to be out for that long. Like he's going to be back soon, so I've got him at left back. Then it's been Varane. You've got I think Johnny Evans, Andre Onana. Because I just remembered that last season we had Dubravka for quite some time, and Ten Hag didn't use him at all. Like he genuinely didn't use him at all. So I just have a feeling that the same thing is going to happen, and he'll stick with Onana, like the only keeper we have.
Wait, hold on. So we had Dubravka, and what's the other guy? Jack Butland.
Jack Butland. Yeah.
Just pointless.
Should never use
it. They got a winner's medal.
Never use it.
Winner's medal. Crazy.
Cheeky bastards. I love this club, man.
I think Jack Butland even put up a post after that final.
Don't chat to me about that. I was giving him shit after that. Smiling, saying glad to be here, happy to be here, and all these pictures and that. Like, come on, Jack.
I swear I don't know what he looks like.
Yeah, you're better than that, Jack Butland. Come on.
Then,
talk us through your midfield, Treyas.
Yeah, I've gone with Amrabat, Casemiro, and Bruno. I think Amrabat, he came on against Burnley. I think this will be his first start for United, and I think it'll be helpful in actually getting an idea as to how this midfield would actually work. Like seeing Casemiro, Bruno, and Amrabat play together, what this midfield can actually bring to the table. I think Crystal Palace is a good team to actually come up against for them as well. Then I've got with Rash. Yeah.
Very, very quickly. Have any of you seen Return of the Mummy?
No.
Film?
I have.
Have you seen the bald evil guy in it?
As soon as she said it, literally, I saw his face just. Is that look? Is that?
Yeah, it's like that piercing eye look. Yeah. It's all right, Trey. Just popped into my head. I saw it to my mates yesterday. I was like, who's that guy, man? Out of Return of the Mummy. I had to Google it and everything. But,
he looks like him, man.
Yeah, he does. Sorry, talk to you, Tom.
Yeah, and then just Rashford on the left, Højlund and Pellistri on the right.
Very obviously, Pellistri starts. I hope he does because he deserves it. All five gone with Dalot, right? For the same reason as yourself. Goalkeeper, I've gone with Bayern Day. I think he'll get his first start in the cup. I've actually heard some promising things and read some promising things on that goalkeeper. I don't know if any of you guys know much about him.
Yeah.
Seems all right. I think Ericsson, McTominay, and Casemiro. I don't think Amrabat's ready to start. I think Ten Hag's very methodical with the minutes that he gives to new players, and I just think Ericsson will be in that midfield alongside Casemiro, settled. McTominay a bit further up, Bruno on the right, Højlund up top, and Marcus Rashford on the left. So changes from us all. With that in mind, sorry lads. Score predictions.
Yeah.
What do we think?
1-0 United.
Who scores? Anyone?
Please.
Johnny Evans.
Someone, please. Yeah, just.
Yeah. What score are you going with, mate? And what's everyone saying in the chat as well? Let me know. Score predictions, please.
1-0. I'll stick with 1-0 as well.
1-0. Yeah, it doesn't seem like a game that's going to feature like shitloads of fucking goals, does it?
Maybe Højlund scores. Or
We'll
a penalty. I think
now.
I'm even seeing a penalty goal in this one.
Okay. Go on, Shiv, what did you say?
I was just going to say, we're all just going to go 1-0, 0-0, 1-0, and then it would be like a fucking goal fest or something.
Yeah, like a 5-4. I've gone 1-1
Hopefully.
Rashford, then Eze to score.
Oh, Nick, fuck off. Every time you go 1-1, that's what happens.
Yeah, well, I've just been honest prediction, innit? If you want me to give you a bullshit prediction and what I want to happen, it's a 4-0 plastering with a Højlund hat-trick. That's what I want.
Yeah.
But
That's what I want to hear. Thank you.
you don't always get... Yeah, if you want to take that one, you can have that one. That's absolutely fine.
No, Nick always gets his spot on. Whenever he goes 1-1, I just, fuck.
Well, I'm sorry too. I hope it isn't. David Harron says 1-1 win on pens. Is it not a replay? Will it go straight to extra time penalties?
I thought it was a replay.
I thought it was a replay. But if it does, then we'll win in extra time or penalties. Scoreboard says 2-1 to Manchester United. Shah Sam says 2-0 United. Højlund brace. Lindelof says, don't ask why I said him, because his name is Lindelof the GOAT. And then Scoreboard says McTominay brace. If you really believe that, put money on it, because it'll be very good odds. So, yeah, I'm not encouraging people to bet, but I think McTominay brace.
McTominay brace.
Yeah, so 2 goals from McTominay. David Harrington says straight to pens, done it. I don't know. I'm not sure. I thought it was a replay, but you might be right on that, David. I hope you all enjoyed the preview. Make sure you are subscribing to Real Red Star if you haven't done it already. Just a little red box at the bottom right-hand side of your screen. Make sure you drop us a follow on socials as well. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Been a little bit inactive recently. It's had shit going on behind closed doors and stuff, but we're back now consistently. I've already apologised for the watch along and stuff. So yeah, there'll be loads of stuff coming up. We've got a members video dropping shortly within the next couple of days. And yeah, obviously United very busy with games at the moment, so constant content coming your way, plus breaking news shows and reviews, etc. So yeah, well enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Peace.